Hey everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be discussing a possible villain that we could see in Spider-Man 2. Obviously, Insomniac Games has made it a huge point to show off Kraven the Hunter as a primary antagonist of Spider-Man 2, but one fact that's sort of slipping under the radar, surprisingly, is that Kraven in the source material has a half-brother. Many of you probably already know that I'm talking about the Chameleon, a Spider-Man character who can mimic voices and wear masks to impersonate others, and so there are many Spider-Man stories where Peter or other characters will think that they're interacting with someone, only to later find out that it's the Chameleon just pretending to be that person. One story arc that comes to mind is when the Chameleon impersonated J. Jonah Jameson, and this obviously brings in a ton of story potential for what they could do in Spider-Man 2. One possible idea that I was shooting around on Twitter last night was the idea that maybe they will treat Venom as a surprise reveal. For a good chunk of the game, maybe we won't know who is wearing the symbiote and who Venom is. But maybe the game will go out of its way to really show us it's not Eddie Brock, it's not Harry Osborn, because we'll be interacting with them in different capacities of the story. Maybe Venom will attack a party where Harry or Eddie are in attendance. And then let's say that we finally reveal who Venom is, and boom, it's either Harry or Eddie, one of those two that Insomniac is kind of acting like it's not. And then the twist is that the Harry or Eddie that we've been interacting with throughout the course of the game's story could be the Chameleon in disguise. Maybe when Norman releases Harry from the containment that he had him in to try and save his life, maybe the symbiote that was on Harry transforms him into Venom, and in order to maintain appearances and make the city not think that anything is wrong, maybe Norman hires the Chameleon to impersonate Harry so that people don't panic. Obviously, there are also plenty other directions that they could take this character. Maybe Spider-Man starts working with Captain Stacy, assuming that he's around in this game, only to find out that it's the Chameleon in disguise. Or they could do what the Spectacular Spider-Man show did, where the Chameleon actually impersonated Spider-Man himself. That could be an interesting side mission. Maybe there's another Peter Parker or another Spider-Man running around, and it turns out that it is the Chameleon impersonating Spider-Man. This is going to be a game where Peter Parker's reputation as Spider-Man is called into question, and it would be interesting to see the story push that even further by having the Chameleon also involved, either impersonating Spider-Man or impersonating someone else and sort of pulling the strings and manipulating Spider-Man that way. The last time I remember a successful plot twist of this caliber was in Batman Arkham City, where it was revealed that Joker, the one who you'd been interacting with for a good chunk of the game, was actually Clayface in disguise, and Joker had hired him to keep up appearances. That was a very effective plot twist, and arguably the best plot twist of any superhero video game ever. Insomniac absolutely has the potential to replicate that by including the Chameleon in Spider-Man 2. And considering that Kraven is heavily involved in this game's story, and canonically Chameleon is the half-brother of Kraven, that definitely leaves a narrative door open for Chameleon to be involved with this story. I'd also argue that this is by far the most compelling game that the Chameleon could be introduced. We've had a lot of previous Spider-Man games. I actually think the Chameleon was involved in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game to some degree, but Insomniac's Spider-Man games really are the first ones that have focused a lot on some cinematic storytelling and building up the relationships of Peter Parker. In fact, Insomniac's first Spider-Man game especially, and they also did follow through with this in the Miles Morales game as well, but they make as much of an effort to flesh out the personal lives of their protagonists as they do their superheroed alter egos. Having a character that we get really close to either as Peter or Miles only to find out that it's the Chameleon in disguise could be really heart-wrenching. They could really pull the rug out from under us, and it could make us really want to go back and replay the story to see if we can pick up the little Easter eggs that we all missed that showed us that something wasn't quite right. I know that myself and many others have been speculating on who could be a secret final antagonist of this game. Could it be Green Goblin? Could it be Carnage? And while I still think it's very possible that some of those characters could be involved in the story of Spider-Man 2, I think the Chameleon would be a fun way to subvert expectations, because that wouldn't necessarily be the most compelling boss battle ever or anything like that, but it could be a cool way for the story to have a plot twist and have a secret antagonist who was playing more of a mind game with Peter and Miles throughout the course of the story. It would provide that secret antagonist twist, sort of like the first game had, but it would do it in a different way. It wouldn't be to set up a big boss fight, but rather to reframe the events of the story that we've just been through. Overall, I think the Chameleon is a great Spider-Man villain who is often underutilized. It really honestly surprises me that this isn't a plot twist that we've seen in any mainstream Spider-Man movies or games yet. I would love for Insomniac to tackle this character and see some creative way for him to be weaved into the story, but those are my thoughts on it. Please be sure to leave yours in the comments below. As always, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we will see you guys in the next one.